Hey guys, so there's not going to be a video this week for the 1978 episode because the video looked like straight ass. Apologies. So there's just going to be the audio this week, but hopefully next week we'll get our shit together and it won't look like we've recorded on a potato. But enjoy.
Hi everybody, welcome to Press, where we talk about things that press us
And stress us.
I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee. This week we're talking about 1978 Fear Street, and in preparation for this, because I'm gonna be honest, I watched this movie twice, and the first time I watched it I was disappointed. I was like, this isn't giving me the summer vibes of like regular thrillers, murders at camp, you know? So I was like, let me watch some classics. So I watched Sleepaway Camp, I watched Friday the 13th, and I watched Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. Hey guys, editing Kaylee here. So I know I just said that I watched a bunch of classics, but the last movie I listed off, Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight, is not a classic. It came out like a year ago. But I ended up watching it because it's about summer camp, slashers, all that good stuff. So that's why I ended up watching it. But the other two I listed off are classics. They're from the 80s. They're old. Anyways, back to the show. After watching those and I rewatched Fear Street, it got a lot better.
Well, in their defense, it was the early, what was it?
The first two came out in the 80s, and then the third one came out like 2019.
Okay.
But it was like
the
Polish.
Third one? Which one? Nobody Sleeps in the Woods?
Yeah.
Huh, what's that one about?
It was like it's deemed the first Polish thriller or like a slasher. Yeah.
Okay. A slasher, just kind of an American thing?
I doubt it, but maybe. But yeah, so basically it was like this camp where these teenagers go that are addicted to their phones and technology, and then they go out into the woods and like camp and
Have
survive.
to survive without their phones. That's the horror.
That's basically it. Yeah. And it wasn't that great, but yeah. So I realized that I'm lucky that I never went to camp as a kid because it looks like not a lot of people survive these situations.
No, especially back in the day. I don't know what it is about the 70s and 80s, but they did not make it alive.
They didn't. But it's probably them short shorts and them crop tops.
That's what the parent like, people didn't even lock their doors back in the day. True. So this just makes sense, because where the hell are the parents? Where are the adults? The nurse was the only adult,
and then she tried to murder someone.
I was like, there's no. Anyway, we'll get to that.
So I guess I'll go ahead and read the synopsis for 1978. So in Shadyside, the past is never really past. This week, we're checking up on our favorite witch, Sarah Fear, in Fear Street 1978. This time, we're at Camp Nightwing. Following sisters Cindy and Ziggy, things start off fine until Nurse Lane attacks Cindy's boyfriend, Tommy. Cindy is determined to figure out why and ends up uncovering Sarah Fear's witchy dungeon. Coming across a witch's altar usually wouldn't be a bad thing, but Tommy ends up getting possessed with the urge to kill all Shadysiders at Camp Nightwing. Will the two sisters be able to break the curse before Tommy attacks? No. We saw the first one and we knew that the massacre happened. So no surprise there in the ending.
No surprise there at all.
So,
but I guess I will get into slight, not even background, mostly just reviews and just cast. So this is Fear Street Part 2, 1978, rated R, came out in 2021 after Fear Street Part 1. And it was an hour and 50 minutes.
It was long.
Okay. Same director, Lee Jinek.
Still can't pronounce it.
Still can't do that. I'm so sorry. I'm trash. Okay. IMDb gave this a 6.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it an 89%.
Damn.
For whatever reason. And the audience gave it 82.
Do we know if that's higher than the first one?
Yeah. The other ones was in the lower 80s for the critics. So this one was definitely like almost a 90% though.
Maybe they watched a whole bunch of bad 80s summer camp movies. And
I just don't know in what world this was almost a 90%. But you know what? I don't think I'm a slasher film fan.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just it, but we will continue. Sadie Sink plays Ziggy Berman. Emily Rudd plays Cindy Berman. Macabre Sly plays Tommy Slater. Jillian Jacobs is C. Berman. Matthew Zuck plays the mayor, Will Good. Kiana Madeira plays Dina. And Benjamin Flores Jr. plays Josh. He comes back again. Olivia Scott Welsh plays Sam Fraser. Brandon Spink is the young Will Good. Chiara Orella plays Sheila. Marcella LeBlanc plays Becky. Eden Campbell is Annie. Ted Sutherland is the young Nick Good. Michael Provost is Kurt. And honestly, half these characters, who even are they? Drew Shield is Gary. And Jackie Venn is Joan.
Who was Joan?
I don't know. I don't know who these people are. Because it was so dark. Oh my God. I couldn't see a thing.
Yeah.
And I closed all the blinds. My TV can tilt. I was tilting it away from the window. I turned off the lights. I could not see anybody or anything.
It was dark.
So 99% of the movie was in the dark, in the cabins, in the dark undertunnel grounds. I was like, I cannot see anything. We're having another case of the Game of Thrones.
Oh, that happened in Game of Thrones?
Yes, there was one episode with the whole fight, and everybody was like, could y'all see anything? But the creators just called us broke and said maybe y'all should get better TVs because it requires a certain resolution. He said something like that. And we said, oh, hell nah. You're making this for the commoners, okay? It's for the masses.
For real.
Anyway, so that was one frustration, is I just don't know if it's something that needs to be watched in like nighttime pitch black dark, but I was watching it. It was still daylight outside, and I was like,
because I mean, it doesn't get dark until like 9 o'clock.
no. I gotta watch that movie in the daylight just in case.
Got scared.
Just in case. But I literally couldn't see anything. So that was one thing that I had, a lot of action. And then they would like, you're supposed to read something. Oh, I can't read that. I couldn't read anything. I was like, but luckily I could piece together what's happening. But
yeah. I remember going to like a drive-in movie a drive-in movie. And it was like a horror movie, and it was so dark the entire time. And it was basically like listening to a podcast because we were listening to it in the car and I couldn't see a damn thing. It was awful.
Crying.
Tristan fell asleep. I was like struggling.
Where?
This was in a drive-in. Yes, and it was crazy because I was watching like the other screens. It was bright as hell. I was like, why can I see this shit, but I can't even see my own?
No,
I couldn't see
that is so frustrating. Sitting there with your car running. Go home. Save some gas.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Oh, that's so funny. And once again, the only time I saw any people of color is when they said, we know those shady siders. There's one point where they showed this like black kid and another kid. And they were like not white.
Yeah.
I didn't see not one other person of color the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, I swear they did that in the first film too when they started fighting in the beginning. But the only time they show these people of color is when they got to show you how rough and tough shady side is. And you never see these kids again.
We're really
I was like, I don't know. It was almost comical. They're trying so hard to be like, we're the white thugs. I'm like, what? They all had some sob story. Oh, Lord, where's the violin? What's the one? He's like, I have glass lungs and a paper heart.
That's SpongeBob.
Yeah, insert that here. Boy, literally, when that girl, Alice, she said,
Why'd they do her like that, though? Her last final speech, bro, and then she gets axed. I was like, damn, she poured out her whole heart and soul.
My mom is on drugs. My dad was in jail. And I hate my life. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this my entire life.
For
a murder spree, a homicidal murder
side.
spree. Now's your time.
That's what you got to do. That's what happens in Shady Side.
I guess. She was like, I've been waiting years for the second round of murders. I feel like everybody had a sob story, and I did not care about Naya's story.
I mean, in the beginning of like the color war scene, like literally he said good.
Color war. I said, what is this? Civil rights movement? What? The color war?
But he literally said good versus evil.
I was like, what is this?
I'm like, they literally just live across the street.
I'm pretty sure when they said evil, that's when they panned a little black kid. I was like, wait, we didn't see a black kid this whole time. And now y'all want to say evil and point to the black kid.
He's evil.
Oh my God. Get him out of here. I was like, wait.
Get out. Shady Side trash. I was like, why are they so fucking mean?
Like, what?
Why are they so aggressive the entire time?
Why are they literally in a camp together? Who did this?
Who would keep going back?
What? I'm assuming the Sunnyside is really rich. So I'm like, why would they be at the same camp? Because you have like a rich camp and a not rich camp.
They're that close together.
And we're the adults. I saw Nane adult, except for the nurse who
went crazy,
who had to go. And then after that, the police showed up and were like, "That's wild." Well, back to the regular scheduled programming.
They didn't even try to like check on the situation or do any kind of like police work.
I think you should probably cancel camp. If the nurse goes crazy and tries to kill a student at knife point, I feel like it's over. There's nothing else to be done. The color wars are done. Stop. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, Ziggy like got tied up to a tree, was like burnt.
Oh my gosh, they're evil. They were like, hang her, burn her. I said, okay, this is too much. Where's the adult?
That was too much.
Why did y'all think that? Who are these kids? I'm sorry. I would have kicked everybody. She would not be able to burn my arm like that.
Yeah, that part was really intense. And like, I think, are there 3 good brothers?
I don't know.
Cause like
like the little good brothers.
Yeah.
I think there's the mayor.
Which is Will. And then there's Nick,
who grows up to be the sheriff.
But I think also Kurt, or the other guy, was a good brother. And I only say that because when Ziggy addresses him, he's like, oh, you can stay, but you have one more chance. And she's like, oh, getting saved by a good brother or something like that.
No,
and she looked at him, and then she looked at Nick. So she looked at both of them. So I don't know if they're brothers or not, but
as young Will Good. No, I'm only seeing
it only has good on 2 of them.
2 goods.
But she looked at him when she said that. So I don't know.
No, runs deep.
So I was like, is that the guy that's the mayor? But no, it's the other guy.
Is it
Will.
Kurt?
Mm-hmm.
Kurt doesn't have a last name.
Yeah, he don't.
He
don't deserve one, I guess.
Guess not. Back to this film. Where do I begin? Overall, I thought it wasn't horrible. I just thought it was horribly boring. I feel like there's only one direction a slasher film can go. Mm-hmm. And by golly, was that whole murder act scene like 2/3 of the movie. It was a little lengthy. Like, I just don't think that, like, nothing was really happening other than
murder,
them running and him slaughtering for maybe a total of 45 minutes. Like, literally, there was nothing happening. There wasn't a lot happening with the story. They tried to throw in character development in there a few times, but I just didn't care. I don't know. And literally, I don't know. I just feel like they were trying to do too much with the shock value of the violence, and like, because it was pretty gory. I mean, you know, they're definitely showing you, some films will just show the movement of the axe, but they're definitely like showing you like the face and chopping heads off. So it was definitely gory. But
not the first kill, but the second kill with like Jeremy, the kid with glasses, and you just see Tommy like going in on him. I'm like, why he go in on him so hard? He was really like, bah,
no, literally,
like several times. Like, poor Tommy. Poor Jeremy. What did he do?
And it's just the Shady Side kids, like,
because it's a Shady Side curse. Mm-hmm.
Well, you name your city Shady Side, I can't help you. That's just only what's going to happen.
Well, it looks like what the story is that it was a union that was all together before they were separated. So I'm wondering what happened that they're like, oh, we're only going to go after Shady Siders. So I'm hoping the last film will like talk more about it.
That's what I was wondering, because I do know they did mention that. And then somewhere things went bad and there was like a superior group and not. So I wonder how that came into play. Yeah, which hopefully we find out, because obviously the ending was very interesting.
Yeah. It was boring because we already knew it was going to happen, so it wasn't like a lot of suspense was happening, because we knew that Ziggy was going to die, because that was the whole reason why they went to see Burnham, because they're like, oh my god, she died, that's why she broke the curse.
Yeah.
And we knew that the massacre happened, and as soon as the movie started, we see Nurse Lane attack Tommy, so we obviously know Tommy's the killer.
Yeah.
So it was like everything was already told to us in the first like 20 minutes, and I was bored.
And you're just waiting for it to unfold. And you're really just waiting for the last part, like the last part after the 1978 attack, because you're like, well, we know that story. Now we just have to watch it for an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was so slow. And like, we already kind of know. I mean, they kind of gave you a little bit more background about the witch, slightly. Mm-hmm. And I guess they found the hand, so now you got to put the hand with the body, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't feel like we learned very much. It would have been, I think, an interesting story had they done more with the storyline, but it wasn't really a storyline. It was a slasher film, so if you like those, you're going to like this movie. I don't think it was a bad movie. I just think it was just kind of boring. Like, you know, killer's on the loose. He's killing people. I mean, I did like how they weren't afraid to kill anybody, for sure. But you definitely knew who was going to survive still, you know? And even though they died, you knew that they were both going to die. Mm-hmm. Because if one of the sisters dies for real, then the other one has to come back to life. So I do agree. It was just very...
I didn't know that CPR was going to help somebody who's been stabbed.
And not even stabbed. These, the undead stabbed the hell out of them. It was boom. They're literally talking to each other, chest moving. I said, this is impossible.
I know.
And then he's like, CPR? Sir, she has a gaping hole in her chest. There is no heart to even... You can't, her heart is demolished. There's no heart to even pump. Like, I don't even know what that was about. I just am not convinced it's CPR, but maybe it's the power of love.
I guess so. That's what happened with what's her name, Deanna and Sam or whatever from the first one. She gave her like a whole bunch of fucking adrenaline right to her heart.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, this is the things that they do to bring these people back. Honestly,
it's the power of love.
This is crazy.
But yeah, it's interesting because like I rewatched some slashers and it's like, especially with Friday the 13th, it's very obvious when someone's about to die because you have a group of people, you don't get to know them at all, but if you see them alone on screen for like 30 seconds at least, then you're like, oh, they're probably gonna die, this is their last scene. And then there you go, they do die.
They die. And
it was just like, they didn't really do this that much in this movie, which I do kind of appreciate, but it kind of seemed like it leaned more towards that idea where it's like, we'll introduce these random kids just to kill them off. Or like, you know, Alice gives like her last final speech about her mom and her dad and her family being terrible, and then she gets axed. So it was kind of like, it did pay homage to like the original slashers, where it just kind of like showed some random kids and it's like, okay, time for them to die.
Yeah.
So, but it was kind of boring because like we just said, it was just, we already knew it was going to happen. And like, I don't think there was enough witchy background stuff that we learned for it to pay off. So I don't really know why so many people like this one better than the first one. I thought the first one had a little bit more intrigue to it. But the second one, like we already knew these killers were going to come back to life if someone bleeds on the bones, because that's what happened in the first one. So we're not surprised when anything happens. I don't know. It was a little disappointing, which is why I was on my hunt to watch other slasher summer camp movies, but they were also kind of boring.
Yeah, I just think the slasher, at least with like Scream, I don't mind Scream.
Scream was interesting for sure.
It's got a little bit more of a whodunit type of feel, but we know who done it, and we know who's gonna do it again and again and again and again. See, that was my thing. Also, just a cliche. I mean, I know that they were paying homage to the prior slasher films, but it was, of course, you have the couple that's having sex and they're making fun of the virgin girl, her virgin ways, and you have the rebel and you have the mean girl and the jocks, and I was just not bored.
I was so tired of the sister Cindy. I hated her so much. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
guys, we gotta clean the toilet.
Oh my God, this moss. I'm like,
we gotta get the moss out the mom. I broke the sponge. I was like, oh my God, girl.
It was so annoying.
There's a killer on the loose.
And then like Ziggy was literally just Deanna or whatever her name is again. So like, I'm tired of like the whole argument between people in Shadyside is like, one of them wants to leave Shadyside and other people are like, you'll never leave. I'm like, why are you arguing because they want a better life?
No, they said never.
You're like, oh, you'll be lucky if you don't get hit by a bus on your way out.
That was rude. I was like, okay, so why does anyone live here? As a parent, I don't even care if you're suspicious or not suspicious or believe in whatever. If there is a murder every how many years?
It's not even
like every 9 years. Yeah, every 9 years there's a mass murder, and everybody's like, that's just Shadyside.
As soon as someone was like, she takes the hand and blah 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 blah, like starts chanting some weird thing about some witch murdering people, I'm like, oh no, we're leaving.
No, I'm not sticking around for that, especially if you can prove a history of murder every so years that's consistent.
I just don't know why Cindy was fighting it so hard. She was like, this isn't real, none of this is real. I'm like, obviously it is.
Ma'am, look where you at. There's a beating heart in the ground. Look at you. Your tummy just went crazy. Oh my gosh.
But what killed me is whenever the first guy died, which was Alice's boyfriend, she described him as being like dirty. She was like, I love that dirty, high man. I'm like, oh my gosh. Why did she just roast her boyfriend?
She said that high, crazy boy.
Dirty, ugly ass, nasty
jobless,
ass man.
Crusty, lazy. I was like, wait a minute.
Do you love him?
She's right in the camera, but I love him. Okay. Well, you about to see him.
Right, real talk.
Turn around.
You'll see him again.
No, another thing is I'm so tired, and I know you've heard me rant about this before. What is up with the obsession of these sex scenes are just getting more and more ravenous with these portrayed teenagers? I feel like, yes, teenagers do have sex, so I'm not saying that it can't be some kind of part of the story.
Yeah.
But can we say they're getting very explicit? It's literally like soft porn, not even. Yeah. It's literally like they're both naked, and you can literally see their like areas pounding together, and then you see booty cheek. I'm like, they're supposed to be like 15, 16.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? I'm assuming the actors and actresses aren't that age, but what? Once again, I'm like, who's this audience for? because this seems a little intense for minors.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is rated R.
It's rated R, so it's not for anybody, I guess, under 17 technically.
Yeah.
Or what's the? Wait,
I
what
think
is
it's
16? 16? I don't know. I'm just like, once again, why are we doing so much with the sex scenes, like with supposed like children? You know, I mean, they're like 14, 15, 16, maybe 17, 18, I guess, if they're a little older there. But it just is like very weird.
It is.
I'm like, they're supposed to be like teenagers. And it's not even, I've seen, there are other horror films where, you know, they're kind of getting it on, but it's not the extent, like it was unnecessary sex scenes. Like not even a sex scene when they're about to die. The girl like, oh no. And then, oh my God, my eyes. And then we have to watch too. I said, go leave. I don't want to be here watching these teenagers have sex. Like, what is going on?
I don't know. And like it happened again with like the Shady Side girl and the Sunnyvale guy. Like they were having sex too.
Oh my gosh.
And it just to set her up to getting murdered. So I don't know. I get uncomfortable with that too. I don't know. And I feel like Netflix low-key has like an obsession with like having sex scenes in all of their like originals or whatever.
They have to. I'm like, I get it. People definitely do that thing. But it doesn't have to be so explicit. Like, I get it. I know what's going on. And then I'm like, at least make sure they're grown. I'm like, how old am I watching this? Like, this is supposed to be like high schoolers?
Yeah.
Because it seems like the film is fur. is for like a younger audience. But I'm like, it must be the younger adult audience. Because like, I couldn't imagine somebody made this and go, this is for high schoolers.
I don't know. And then like Cindy was like, I wish I would have had fun and had sex and done drugs. I'm like, bitch.
And I was like, what's the message? Wait a minute.
All she wanted to do was like get out of Shady Side. And now she's like, I should have just done all the bad things I should have done. I'm like, wait. I don't think that's the ticket.
And so what we took away from this is
and so the lesson here today.
Sex. I'm like, wait a minute. Who's this for? But yeah, not to be that person that's like uptight. That's not it. But somebody did point it out, and ever since they pointed it out, I'm like, you're right. And every like coming of age or like younger people, there's always very explicit. I feel like, did you watch Degrassi?
Yeah.
I feel like Degrassi wasn't even as bad as this. It was still kind of like, you know,
but it was
shocking for the time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we're just getting progressively more and more. I'm like,
yeah. So now we're just watching teenagers have sex.
Yeah, I'm like,
and that's like the whole thing. Like Euphoria was like really big into that too. It's just, I don't know. It's uncomfortable because like, I mean, we lived this experience, and I know that people in high school did have sex, but it's like, I don't want my kids to watch this about other teenagers having
that
sex.
Explicit. I'm like, maybe not. And then like, at what age do you stop watching those type of movies and films?
It's like you can't even escape it though,
because it's like all over. Yeah, because it's like any young, like they always skip college. They always skip. Literally, we can't just have a show in college. Like it's always high schoolers, middle schoolers, high schoolers.
Oh my God! Speaking of that, I watched Clueless, and I love that movie.
I love Clueless.
I love it, but it's weird. It has like a very like soft incest.
Oh, with her stepbrother?
Yeah. But what I didn't realize is that she's 16 and he's like in
20.
college.
Yeah, no, that's
weird.
Odd. He's like 21.
That's weird. Yeah.
She's like
he
16?
at least has to be like, if I'm being generous, he's like 18. But yeah, it's really weird. Now, I mean, not only is that her ex stepbrother, but he's also older than her, and she's 16, like just turned 16 too.
Yeah.
Because like in the beginning of it, she's like, I'm 15 and my birthday's in May and whatever.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, oh, that's weird.
A little
they could have
odd.
made her older. It's easy.
She could have
to
been
make
like
her
18,
older.
like senior year.
But they're like, no, we're going to make her like a freshman.
Interesting. They do always do that. And then you look back and you're like, oh, maybe that wasn't the best. Maybe perhaps not.
Maybe I shouldn't have rooted for that relationship at all.
Like even when we were in high school, separate from movies, like, do you remember the senior boys that would date the freshman girls? You have a 14-year-old girl dating an 18-year-old man, like, or a young man. That's wild to me. Like looking back, I would not. My daughter is absolutely
even the ones
not.
that had just got out of high school and are going to college. They'd come back to our school
to talk to the young ladies.
Yes.
I'm like, at least
It's
hopefully
so
you're talking to a senior because,
they
sir,
this
is getting into some
they
territory
who just got out of middle school.
They literally could say that they were in the 8th grade 6 months ago, and now you're here.
It's so bizarre.
So crazy. I mean, looking back, because I mean, at the time it didn't seem very odd. But I feel like as I've gotten older, my daughter will not, or son.
No.
I wish my 14, 15-year-old daughter would be like, here's my 18, 19-year-old boyfriend. No, ma'am.
Oh, he grown enough to catch these
to catch these hands. I know. I'm just like, it's just crazy when you think about stuff like that. I mean, when you're in it, it doesn't feel that bad, but definitely looking back, I remember some older boys who would always date freshman girls. Like even juniors, they would date freshman girl, and even senior, they just always freshman girls. And I'm like,
that's so
there's
odd.
Nobody. I mean, I know as you get older, 5 years isn't a big difference, like 25, 30.
Right.
But I feel like in those crucial moments in your life when you're like coming out, like it's such a bigger gap to me.
Mm-hmm. It is because like you're maturing and trying to figure out who you are, and you arrive at that at different stages, like of course like even after you're 18, but especially when you just got out of junior high where you were for sure still a child. And it was weird to me that now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, there was someone pregnant in middle school.
Oh my goodness, that is wild.
It was so weird, like having her walk around school and pregnant. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, looking back, wow. But at the time, we're like, well,
I remember like 7th graders having sex with like high schoolers, and it's just
no, I heard some stories. That is wild. Like, but why as a grown or slightly growner person, why would you want to do that?
Person,
I know you can still be 16, but like, why? Anyway, I mean, I'm sure we can get into psychology. We're getting off base here, but you know what?
That's the real Fear Street.
Films. That is the Fear Street. Prison, jail. Get it together. And please, for the love of God, movies, you do not have to show the shock value. You're already axing people to death.
Right. Why do we need to see titties and hardcore pounding? To
see 15, 16-year-olds engaging in that activity. Maybe they were 18. We don't technically know, I guess.
True.
But the vibe is they're kids because there's no adults. There's no actual adults other than when the nurse kind of went, had her moment and then she had to go. And then when the police showed up. So you can clearly tell there is a difference between the older adults. It's kind of like they don't believe in Santa. The kids are experiencing all this stuff, but the adults are like, Santa doesn't exist. Yeah. And the parents are never around. It's like Polar Express.
Yeah. That's basically
literally. So that's why somebody might argue, well, maybe they're 18, but I'm like, I think they're trying to actually make a point that there's a separation between the kids and the adults. Yeah. And these are the kids.
Because I mean, even in the first like 1994 one, we didn't see like their dad. Like we saw notes and like, oh, dad got a call from the police station, blah, 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 blah. But like we never see anybody's parents really except for the end when Sam's mom picks her up.
And goes crazy. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's just parents are very absent, which makes sense. It's kind of like the latchkey kid type thing where the parents are always busy, don't have time for the kids, and the kids have to save the world.
Side.
Especially shady side because they are cursed apparently. Yeah. So but anyway,
well, I have something.
Yes.
With the curse and them trying to break the curse. So the whole thing is that Sarah gave up her hand on the Satan stone for eternal life. But because they didn't have her hand when they buried her, her grasp on the land still holds true. But why would returning her hand to her break the curse? She gave up her hand for eternal life. So even if it comes back, what's going to happen?
This what she wanted?
No, that's what I'm saying. Now she has 2 hands to work.
Double time.
So I'm confused. I don't understand like how that's going to break the curse. And like they kind of
her soul is free. Maybe because they took it back from hell and now here's your hand and you can rest. Know. They're not. Yeah, it's very surface level. Like she needs to put her hand back.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they'll be able to answer all these questions in the third one. That's the only reason why I'm kind of excited because I'm like, oh, okay, well then I can see what they're talking about. Yeah. Because you have the elements here. She has this like weird heart body that pounds and it distorts and turns into stuff. But then there's also that red mulch. And if you bleed on it, there's like a lot of elements and I'm not really sure what's going. But like when the people originally, I just need to know more. I'm like, when they originally buried her, did they know she was going to have a grip on the land? Or was it just a curse that happened when they put her in the ground? Like they didn't mean to do that, but then she found like a loophole and was like,
then who wrote the story?
That's what I'm saying. Who wrote the story? Where was she at talking to Satan before they hung her? You know what I mean? Like, did they just grab her and go? Was she missing the hand when they found her?
I don't know.
Maybe like she knew she was gonna. You know what? Maybe we'll find out.
I feel like it would make more sense if like they didn't say that she gave up her hand for Satan so she would have eternal life. It would make more sense if like they chopped off her hand for punishment, and that's why you have to return her hand to her because it's something that she didn't do to herself. But with her giving her hand for eternal life, how the hell is that going to break the curse? She did that. She don't want it anymore, so she could live forever. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like she purposely wants to reign.
Yeah. And so like it would make more sense that like if you wanted to break the curse of somebody and their hand got chopped off and they didn't chop it off themselves, somebody did it to her as a punishment, and returning her hand then is like, hey,
it's like, here's your hand back.
Yeah, we're making peace. We're sorry. Here's your hand.
But if she willingly gave it up,
then how's that breaking the curse?
Unless she's like a tortured soul as well and wants to go.
I mean, she does look angry every time we see her.
I mean, for eternity, that's a lot. That is a lot.
It's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, but at least the characters, I like the main characters better than at least the first one. I'll say that. The character, oh my goodness. What's her name?
Dina.
Oh, Lord. I just was not a fan. Literally, her friends, they didn't have a vigil or anything for them. She's like, my girlfriend got to live. I'm like, if you don't get... But, yeah, I agreed when that girl came back to life. She's like, I don't even know if I wanted to come back.
Girl, I don't blame you.
Pissed.
I don't blame you.
That's horrific. And now she got to live in shambles her whole life. Why did she move? Are they going to talk about that? She literally still stayed in Shayside.
I hope they talk about why she has so many fucking alarms.
Oh, yeah. She was like on a clock. Unless she like...
Maybe she like loses track of time or something. So that's why she has like these alarms to like remind her to eat, to feed the dog, to check the locks. I don't know. Like we didn't really get into that. It's just like they give us these bits and pieces of like really cool and interesting stuff, and then they don't really go back into it. And I hope they do in the last one, but it just seems like we're going to go back into the past with this last one. Why are we going to talk about why she has all these clocks? I feel like the time for us to talk about that was in the second one.
Unless, well, it looks like Dina went back to the past. So maybe Dina has to run around and do stuff and then come back to the future, and maybe they do some stuff there.
She said, I got you, you witch. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You told her, Dina.
No.
You told her.
She just yeeted her back to the past.
She really did.
But yeah. I mean, oh, and the other thing, boy, horror films found that you could put jolly music over murder scenes and they never look back.
No.
Every single horror film, so there's always some music playing in the background. I mean, they really did hone in on more of like the 80s, late 70s theme, which I think they kind of, I heard someone talking about it because a lot of people said that they did not get a 90s feel from the last one.
Really?
Which I agree. Yeah, it just looked like kids running around. Maybe it's because that their clothes are what's in style now. So it's like they're wearing 90s crop tops and stuff. Yeah. And then somebody was saying that a lot of the songs weren't even from the 90s. But I guess this one did a little bit better kind of with the 80s theme. And they did have good music. But I do know, I think sometimes movies hang on to putting good music in their film and trying to make it edgy. But everyone does it now. So it's like, when you get a film like this, because they're trying to kind of make it like spunky. I don't know how on earth they're going to go from like the neon lights of the 90s, the music. Like they try to make it kind of cool and almost like a comedy but drama, but not, they're super hip, like they got cool, like they're painting the camera cool, they're playing music while everybody's getting killed, but it's cool because it's a popular song. Right. But I'm like, how are they gonna do this in the
1666?
Yeah, what kind of music they got back then?
They just have some bells.
No, literally.
The
choir.
Oh, that's it.
That's like, yeah, but I just thought it was funny because I feel like every horror film now, they always play like popular songs, especially like older songs, some like rock song when the main character finally gets the courage to pick up the knife and it's go time, and it's like and then it's like some like, you know what I mean? I'm like, here we go again. Like somebody did it once, and that it has had a chokehold on the industry ever since then.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get more creative now. Like with Promising Young Woman, they did like the strings version of, was it Toxic from Britney Spears?
Yeah, was that movie?
Promising Young Woman.
Okay, yes, I don't mind that.
What was it? Us did like the I Got 5 on it.
Yes,
and they mixed it up to make it more like
that. I like a little bit. I like it when they're kind of
when they change it up,
changing it for the movie. I kind of like a little bit better. Not that you can't add it. I still enjoy the feel, but I just kind of laugh because I'm like, here we go. Or somebody hits the record player and and it's like, and then now they're fighting and it's like the music's on. Yeah. I'm like, oh Lord,
it's a vibe.
It is a vibe, but yeah, I'm interested to see how they're gonna have that translate to the back in the days times.
Yeah,
super back in the days.
They're just gonna have some like sheep baaing in the background. I don't know what they're gonna do.
A creek running. The well.
Just background noise. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's gonna wrap up, but I'm curious too because I read some of like the Fear Street books too, and like they don't like always end. Like I and like even in Goosebumps, like on the TV shows, like they don't always have like a conclusive ending. Yeah. So I wonder if they're really gonna like end this.
Better not. We didn't watch 3 whole movies
for it not to be a
not to go anywhere. That's what the first and second movie was for.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Honestly,
I thought it was a okay movie. I guess just for, I feel like it could have been cooler.
Yeah.
They could have really still had the slasher film feel. Because I actually like the concept of going back in time.
I do too.
I like that.
Except when they tell us everything that's about to happen.
That's the only thing, is I feel like it could be a little bit more mystery. Because it's very, this is why. So we have a little bit more mystery going. We know the witch gets killed, but maybe, hopefully, they haven't said too much more about the witch because we don't know anything about this situation. So
except she gave up her hand on the Satan stone, and that's about it.
And then got hung.
Yep, got hung. And
Like,
they're like, they should have burned her so witches like you stay dead. I was like, damn,
they didn't
that was kind of rough.
That was rude.
That was a little rude.
Sometimes when they make mean people so mean, I'm like, this is too much.
Yes. Oh, speaking of Sheila, so whenever she gets the bugs like dumped on her instead of like the blood, it reminded me of Sleepaway Camp. There's like a scene where this guy gets trapped in the bathroom, and they put like a hornet's or a bee's nest in there, and he gets like stung to death.
Oh,
I was like, oh, so that's where they got it from.
Oh, so you thought she was gonna die, but then she escaped and started having sex.
No, she didn't.
But when did she do that? She
didn't have sex. That was the other girl.
See, it was so dark. I don't know what happened. I legitimately do not know what happened. I thought that was Sheila.
No.
I thought she was like, Sheila, I gotta go save her. And then I thought she came over and was like, ugh. I was like, she left Sheila alone.
She knocked her ass out. That's what happened.
Oh, Sheila. Anyway, she need to get her teeth rocked because, look, you're not going to burn me and try to tell me I need to be hung and burned.
I know.
Oh, no, you're dead. Like,
Bro.
we're not doing this.
And she was going to stay at camp?
No, literally, they were like, okay, you did steal a $10 bill, and they tried to kill you, but you stole a $10 bill. I was like, wait a minute.
I mean, even that was
How
funny,
long is this
though, because,
camp?
like, everybody else was like, Sheila, are you serious? Are we really doing this? And she's like, shut up. I was like, damn,
like,
even everybody around you, like, Sheila,
no. They're like, no, I never get that. I'm like, you're not going to bully me into killing someone. Stab her.
I'm going to tell on you. That's what I'm about to do.
We got to fight you now. I'm not going to jail for you.
I'm going to run to the camp.
You burn her? Wait, okay. It was $10. Sheila, sit down.
$10 was a lot of money in the 70s.
No, we gotta have to know. Yeah, their money, it was worth $1 million. No, I literally was like, what is this? It's the homicidal kids. If anybody should have been on a bird. They didn't even need Tom. Tommy. They didn't even need him.
No.
They had homicidal Sheila.
Yeah,
about
for
to hang
real.
everybody at the
For
witch's
real.
tree and then burn them on the arm. So rude.
I just don't understand how, like, then she was just going to keep going through camp, like, and do what next?
No, what was she gonna do? Burn her slowly with the lighter?
Oh, true.
She was like, I was like, wait, put some leaves down or some shit. Like, we gotta go. I'm gonna be here for hours.
That's
like, what?
Obviously, her ancestors didn't know how to burn witches either.
She's like, I'll do it. I know how. Boy, might as well kill me with a spoon. The lighter me to death. Be pissed.
God. For real. She
Oh my God.
She would try. She's just gonna roast her slowly on the arm.
Like a fucking chicken.
Put her on the spigot.
I was like, wait a minute. Like, because the guy really did interrupt it. I was like, what was he interrupting? The start of a very slow brisket?
And everybody was just gonna stand there. They're like, Sheila,
no,
maybe
don't kill her. Please. This was fun until you brought out the lighter.
You're ruining camp.
We were having fun with the rope.
Well, we're just gonna hang
You
her.
did kick her or something. That was fun. But I draw the line at the light.
I know when she was like running and then she got her shit rocked in the beginning, like that guy clotheslined her. I was like, God damn.
She was like, no. And I was like, oh, we're probably thinking something bad's happening, but it's not. And then he's like, boom. I said,
I think something bad's happening.
what is this abuse? These kids are demonic. Like,
and then her sister was like blaming her. She was like, you're gonna get us kicked out of camp. I'm like, maybe I should leave.
ma'am, I don't want to be here.
I would-
Joke's on you.
Bro.
I'm going home.
If I was a I would want to leave because that bitch is crazy.
No, literally.
What was Sheila gonna do next? Burn my bed too?
No, that's the thing. I'm like, we already took it so far. I'm clearly not having a good time. I want to go home. Yeah. I'll send you home. Okay.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I'll just leave then, actually. Call an adult to come pick me up. Wherever. Not the nurse. All the adults came and were like, wow, there was almost a murder.
See you later, kids.
I'll have a good time. Bye. Be
Keep
safe,
it easy.
counselors. Because even when you have camp counselors, there's still grown people.
Yeah.
Like grown people that are running the camp.
Yeah.
That's why I'm very confused on where. I mean, I know for the story, but I'm like, you could have had a few adult in there.
There should have
like,
been at least a few sprinkled in.
Yeah, like the chairman or something. Somebody. You can't
The
just
director.
leave kids.
Yeah.
This is what happens. It's like Lord of the Flies. They're killing each other.
That's what happened. You got
Literally.
Sheila over here running around with their fucking match.
She was the one who got her head chopped, though, right?
I don't think she died.
Okay. Who got her head chopped? It was Sheila, because I thought Sheila was helping her bring up Alice and
No, that
sister.
was Gary.
No, it was a girl.
No, it was Gary.
No, it was a girl.
I'm telling you, it's Gary.
I'm telling you, it was a girl who was pulling up the bucket.
Yeah.
No, it was a girl. The hair.
It was
of the
Ziggy
chopped off head.
and Gary.
Was a woman.
It was a man.
It was a woman.
I'm telling you, it's a man. Okay. You gotta look it up.
We gonna look this up real quick. See, it was so dark, y'all, and I was on my phone, kind of.
See, that's what it is. The truth comes out.
No, I saw that part.
I wasn't really watching.
Whenever I heard some stuff happening. Because I couldn't see anyway. It was like a podcast, like you said earlier.
Mm-hmm. So we have
So
confirmed that it was Gary.
And when I tell you I could not see a thing, I was paying such close attention.
Obviously.
Anyway.
Honestly, R.I.P. Gary. I liked Gary. He
Gary
was
was
very
chill.
responsible. Because, like, whenever the first, like, the killing's happening and they're all meeting at the mess hall, Nick is like, Gary, come with me. He's like, no, there's a killer. It's like, I'm
honestly,
Gary.
truly, everybody for himself.
For real. And then he was like, then he saw, like, Nick and Ziggy, like, talking or whatever. And he's like, you know, that's a camper, right? Because Nick's a counselor and they're not supposed to be in relationships.
Once again, yeah.
Yeah, Gary's over here calling shit out. Do it, Gary. Do it. But yeah, I wasn't very pleased with this movie. I think the killing did kind of start happening whenever I've watched it the first time. It felt like the majority of it was just straight up slasher movie killing, and I was like, this is boring. So I wished it was like more like summertime fun in the beginning.
Yes,
a little bit more than that.
It was very depressing all the way through. It wasn't even like a group of friends that had a good time.
Ain't nobody.
Everyone hated each other.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone liked each other except for the men and the women.
Yeah, a little too much, obviously. I don't know why you have a good point. Why do Shady Siders and Sunny Veilers like go to the same camp if they hate each other that much? Like, literally the Sunny Veilers are always like
each other.
I know. They're like talking shit about them. It's like, oh, fucking.
And then you leave them there with no adults.
These are Shady Siders. They always ruin everything with their murders. I'm like,
that curse. Well, honestly, they got a point.
I mean, it's weird though. Like, if you want something to blame things on, like, I would be blaming that curse all the time. Like,
honestly,
I can't do well because this curse, bitch. We're cursed. I would have been doing that this whole time. But, you know, I mean, I guess you could work hard and try to get out, but I would just blame everything on the curse.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah, but I was a little disappointed with it too. So I kind of gave this one, are we doing 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10?
Do 1 out of 5.
Out of 5, I give it like a 2. It was boring, not enough witchy stuff. Obviously, I got a dog points for that. Too much murder.
I thought you liked it the second time around.
I did.
Or now that you're revisiting.
No, I mean, I liked it better the second time around, but not enough to change my score. It's still a 2. It's still not great. Unless you've watched other, like, watch Friday the 13th. That shit's boring. And then you watch this one. It's a little bit more exciting. Kevin Bacon's in Friday the 13th. And there's a long sex scene with that one too.
You know what? When you have sex, you gotta have murder. The 2 food groups.
So stay a virgin, and you'll never die unless you're
just
ugly.
Live last, and you carry the trauma of the group.
Oh, true. I don't know. It's like the fat kids and the nerd kids always die. I'm like, damn.
They really do. But
poor Jeremy.
I just didn't care that much. They're like, hey guys, let's have fun and play. Like, shut up, Jeremy. Then the next thing he's like dead. I'm like, oh, was I supposed to feel bad? Yeah. That was really fast.
Yeah.
I liked Jeremy and I was very upset.
I was. R.I.P.
But the way he was swinging that axe, I'm sure he was.
I think Tommy really hated Jeremy though. Like, why was he going so in on him?
They should have just let that nurse do what she had to do.
I know. She said sometimes killing is because you have to kill. I was like, you know what? You're probably right, Nurse Lane.
That out on tattoo.
Right there.
Anyway, yeah. I give it a 2 as well. I just wasn't. Once again, I'm not a slasher film
fanatic.
I think if you like slasher films, it's a pretty decent film. Mm-hmm. But I guess traditionally slasher films are 90% the slasher part, hence the name. Mm-hmm. And I'm more of a storyline. I like to see where things are going. I like things that make me think, or, you know, like I'm like, oh, what's going on? But to your point, there was nothing wanting. There's nothing left wanting. I was just like, I know what it is. I'm just waiting for it to be done at this point. That would be my only thing. But I like the concept of the movie. It wasn't a horrible movie.
Yeah. I like the overall concept of Fear Street.
Yes.
But I don't understand why we're ever calling it Fear Street though.
There's not a street named Fear. Mm-mm. It's not even like Fear Lake. Like, I thought they'd have like a cute little running theme of like Fear Street, Fear Lake.
Something, but not at all.
No, nothing.
I don't know. It's like a cash grab, I guess.
I guess so.
Because it's like literally nothing. Like, it would have been so easy for them to live on Fear Street. And then boom, there you go. That's why it's called Fear Street. Mm-hmm. But literally they didn't even do that. Yeah.
They might as well just name it Goosebumps.
They might as well just named it fucking 1994, 1978.
Honestly, just called by the years. But it would have been interesting to see it come out in the theaters. But I don't think people would have watched it nearly, like, I think every movie it would have dropped viewership. So I think it is better that they did release it on Netflix instead.
That's the only way it was going to get watched.
Because I feel like people are more likely to watch it casually rather than getting up and like paying $12 for a ticket to see each one. Yeah. So I will say that was
especially when it's just like, the movie like that. It's fun. Like, I thought the first one was a lot of fun and I was excited, but the second one did kind of drop off. And I feel like if I went to the movies and paid for this, I would not be seeing the third one.
No, I don't think I would have seen the second one. I don't, I was just sort of like, okay. Yeah. It just didn't really grab my attention. And the character was getting on my nerves.
Which one do you like better than, the first one or the second one?
I'll say the first one. The first one at least kept me going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
This one, like you said, she was like, back at the camp, when we found out about the witch, my sister died, but I didn't die. I'm like, here we go.
But I didn't die.
I know, there it is.
Which one would you rather have as a sister, Ziggy or Cindy?
Ziggy.
I hate Cindy.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I thought if I was perfect, I don't know.
I mean, I get it. I like to work hard and keep my head down and just follow the rules. That's what I do. I'm scared to break the rules. Yeah. But it was just like, I'm tired of this argument of like, I can't believe you want to leave Shady Side. Like, bitch,
why would we this dump?
Did you not see the B-roll of all the town?
No,
oh my
literally.
God, it was all awful.
So funny. These are somebody's actual house. They owed them.
Don't let me see myself outside over here shopping.
I know,
oh, not me.
I know. We like, hey,
disgusting.
So, look at the locals of Shady Side. They're so evil.
They're disgusting.
The color war. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. They were wrong for that. They knew what they were doing. The color war against Shady Side, the evil. Oh my gosh. I was like,
But I think in Sleepaway Camp they also had a color war, but they didn't have like a Shady Side and Sunnyvale.
It was just literally a color war.
But this one they had the minority split up on one side and the white people
the
on
colors.
the other.
They almost put the D on there.
I know, they said colors
wars. So wait a minute.
Just for the record, we are black, by the way, so don't come for us.
Barely.
I know we're white passing.
I know, we look white as shit. Couldn't tell. Let's get looking pale as fuck.
Yeah, that's not going to change.
Fine. I've accepted my fate. I just feel like we're not that pale in person. That's why I'm so upset. I'm like,
I know.
Like, I look at you right here and I'm like, we're not that bad.
Especially, wow, you're tanner than me.
Just wait till winter pops up around. I'm like, I'm not that bad.
Damn, that light straight up whited you out, bro.
You get a yellow light for the yellow bones. It's time to go.
That's enough smearing off ice.
Right, we gotta go look what the kids are doing. We've been gone for hours.
Are they dead?
I heard some screaming.
Oh well, I guess Haley and Kaylee Camp will have to come on next year.
Yeah, now it's Haley Kayleeville in 16. I was trying to think of a name for the next movie.
You're trying to tie it into the next one.
It was like, well,
Haley Kayleeville.
Why was that in British accent? New England.
That's what happens when you're in the old times.
The olden days. No matter where you are.
It's like, I just hope it's not going to be like The Witch or The Vavitch. I just don't want to watch that again.
I don't think so.
It should be better. No offense to The Witch. I heard that like that guy like put in like a lot of work for it.
I didn't think that movie was horrible.
It was just boring.
It was a little slow, but I mean, you could tell that it was like meaning.
Too. I needed to read what they were saying. I could not comprehend
that
what
old
they were
English.
Saying. They said, "Where to the have you been to the
to the Hindenburg?" I'm gonna say I'm gonna come to town. Look at me up there. Looking at my hut. What?
She's a witch. Burn her. She's a witch.
Sorcery.
Oh. Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if you like
any of that, I'm sorry, y'all. Allergies.
I hope they are allergies. I'm sitting right next to you.
Find out in 7 business days.
Anyways, you could join us at Instagram at Haley and Kaylee.
We have a YouTube channel at Haley and Kaylee. You can check out this video as well as our past videos, podcasts, and other things that we do there. And if you're pressed about something, you want us to watch any certain movies, you want to give your review because you think we're completely wrong, you can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com.
Well, we're going to be watching the next one after this one, and then that's it. So,
that's
join
it forever.
Us. Bye. End of camp forever. Well, until next time, stay pressed. What a mess.
But that's where they stay.
They stay for the mess.
They stay for the mess.